Hello, welcome to our channel of Culture Academy. It's so great to have you with us today, and I hope you will enjoy today's session, which talks about task-oriented culture versus relationship-oriented culture, right after the intro. Task or relationship-oriented culture. Why is it important? Let me give you an example. An American salesman meets a French business partner in a cafe in Paris. He has come over the pond for 2 days and he needs to finish the contract in a very short time. After a little chit-chat and small talk about the weather and the country and the food, the American wants to talk about business. But the French partner is not ready yet for the business talk. He does not even know the American or his organization well enough to finish the deal. He thinks, well, who is this American? What is his role? Does he want to take advantage of me or our organization? Can I really trust him? I need more time to get to know him and to build up the relationship. They do not come to an agreement, and the next day the American businessman goes home unsatisfied without any contract. Why is that? What has happened? Well, each one had a different approach in their exchange with each other. So how can you solve this situation? Is it a task to perform or a relationship to pursue? That's the question. What is more important? How can you know this? Actually, why is it so essential to distinguish between task and relationship orientation? Well, it is a matter of trust. If we live or work cross-culturally, we all need to build relationship with business partners, with teammates, or with individual people. It is primarily a matter of building trust with the people we live with and we deal with. And what is the basis of me trusting you? Is it that I'm reliable in what I do? Or can I trust you because I know who you are? This question of trusting each other in a task or relationship-oriented society touches different areas in my living and working in other cultures. So what are the areas that are influenced by my cultural preferences? There are, for example, leadership styles and leading people. Team relationships are influenced by it. Business negotiations. And also my private life is very much influenced by task or relationship-oriented cultures. So let us look a little bit closer and explain what it means. The task orientation puts the business first. If a long-term trust relationship is developed afterwards, it's even better. On the other hand, the relationship orientation puts the relationships and the building of trust first. Then I can do my business. Task orientation is doing oriented. Your identity is based on the job you are doing. You keep your word, you deliver in time, you are reliable, so I can trust you. It asks when you first meet, what do you do? You live to work. Business is before pleasure. And trust is built through business-related activities. Work relationships are built and dropped very easily. If you do good work consistently, you are reliable. On the other hand, relationship orientation is being oriented. I get to know the other on a deeper level. I develop a personal relationship and I build trust. Your identity is based on family lines or relationships, or even business relationships. To work is a necessity. You work to live and not you live to work. Pleasure comes before business, and trust comes also before business. Trust is built through sharing meals, evening drinks, visit, and time spent with each other. Work relationships build up slowly and over a long period. I got to know you at a deeper level because I have spent time with you. I know others who trust you, and therefore I also trust you. So now let us look at some attributes of task and relationship-oriented people. So first look at the task style. People define others based on what they do. They move straight into business. Relationship comes later on. They keep most relationship with co-workers impersonal. And they sacrifice leisure time and time with family in favor of work. They get to know co-workers and colleagues quickly, but usually superficially. They use impersonal selection criteria in hiring, like resumes or test scores. And they allow work to overlap with personal time. On the other hand, the relationship style, people define others based on who they are. They establish comfortable relationships and mutual trust before they are doing business. They have personal relationship with co-workers, and they would sacrifice work in favor of leisure time and time with the family. They get to know co-workers and colleagues slowly and in depth. And they use largely personal selection criteria in hiring, like family connections or relationships in business. They do not allow work to impinge on the personal life. Now let us look at the country scales to see where the task-based countries are and the relationship-based countries and cultures. Task-based cultures are rather the US, Denmark, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, Finland and Australia. In the middle we can find Poland, France, Italy and Austria. On the relationship-based cultures we see Mexico, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Thailand, India, Japan, Turkey, China and Nigeria. So what can we learn from the task or relationship difference? First, you need to understand that trust is built differently in a task or in a relationship-oriented culture. You need to comprehend the expectations and the approach of your partner. People from a task-oriented culture seem to be only interested in getting on with their tasks, with their business, as fast as they can, and they do not seem to really be interested in the personal relationship with the people they deal with. On the other hand, people from a relationship-oriented culture first seem to be distant and closed until they get to know you. Let me give you an example. When I first worked in Haiti, I moved into a rural zone for a period of time to work with the local people of our organization. I remember that we had one leader who was very reserved and skeptical about my moving into this area. Certainly he thought, what does this white man want here? What are his motives? It took several months until trust was built and we connected in a closer relationship. I remember the incident that broke the ice. We were visiting a project in a very remote area. There was no road, so we had to ride on mules to reach this area. We also had to stay overnight in one of the Haitian houses or huts. I remember him being amazed that the white man would leave his car and ride up the mountains on a mule and sleeping in the same room with him. Now we were on the same level. We had built trust through this event and that changed our relationship. There are two types of trust. Meyer calls it the cognitive trust and the affective trust. Task-oriented people tend to build trust from the head. That's a cognitive trust. If you play the game, you are serious with your business proposals, you stick to your word, you are transparent, you deliver on time, we work well together, well, the result is I can trust you. On the other hand, the relationship-oriented people tend to build trust with their heart, the affective trust. I have spent time with you, well, we had some meals together, I got to know your friends and your family, we had built emotional connections, there's empathy, and you're now my friend. The result is I can trust you. For task-oriented people, mixing their working responsibilities with personal relationship issues seems very unprofessional. For relationship-oriented people, their relationship activities are often the basis for their business operations. You need to be able to reconcile these two different orientations with each other. So what are the practical applications for me? Both parties know that trust needs to be developed with each other, but we often have different unconscious assumptions about how this trust is built. So when you move into a different country or a business relationship with people from another culture, you should define from the cultural scale above that I've given you if the person or the group is more task-oriented or more relationship-oriented than you are. Try to adapt your approach in discussing and dealing with your partners. If you are rather task-oriented, you need to spend more time with the people and build your relationships up. Look out for things that you have in common. Invite people for a meal and talk about your friends and your family and try to get to know them well. Build friendships which will be the basis for your tasks. Realize that building relationships is a good investment. You even can say the relationship is your contract. So if you work with people from the Southern Hemisphere, you need to learn how to build relationship-based trust. If you're rather from a relationship-oriented culture, you need to understand that your task-oriented partner wants to go through fast with his objectives and his business matters. Do not take offense when he does not accept your invitation for a meal right away. You also can explain to him that in your culture it is important to build relationships first and to get to know the partner well in order to trust him and to do business with him. You can explain that the relationship is a safety net which is important in a country with an unreliable legal system. So if you work with people from a task-oriented society, you will need to learn that they think that you can be only trusted if you are reliable, if you keep your words and your time engagements. And you need to understand that the relationships are built mainly to reach their objectives. I will give you a little further exercise to do on your own to sharpen your skills. Look at the cultural scales of task and relationship-oriented countries that I have given you and find a friend, a business partner or a colleague who is on the opposite side of the scale. Ask him how they build trust in their culture. Discuss the task and relationship preferences with him and ask him what approach you need to take in a business relationship. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and you have learned something new. Like and subscribe and hit the little bell button so we give you the information when we publish our next video. And watch all our other videos. I specifically recommend the video on the cultural scales. There are more scales than the one we have discussed here today, and it's very important to look at them and to see where we are on the scales. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Have a good day and bye-bye.